Hello on the Rockers. On this episode, we kick off Pride Month with a lot music. In studio, we have my favorite Canadian export besides maple syrup. We have the group rIVerse is here, and we have dance diva icon herself, Pepper Mashay, performing her new music live, and me, your favorite host with the sassy most. Raise a glass and let the drinks begin. It's on the rocks.
Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
I'd like to propose a toast.
This is On the Rocks with Alexander, where I drink with your favorite celebrities as we talk about fashion, entertainment, pop culture, reality TV, and, well, that's about it. So pop a cork, lean back, and raise a glass to On the Rocks.
Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy night.
Well, happy Pride, everybody. Buttons and bows and pantyhose on the Rocks podcast, the place where we're too glam to give a damn. Happy Pride, because we've definitely earned it this year. Like us on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks on Air, and on Facebook on the Rocks Radio Show. Send me an email. Book me for a wedding, funeral, quinceañera, bris. I don't care. I will show up. Info at ontherocksradioshow.com. You can watch and or listen to our so close to 300 episodes at ontherocksradioshow.com or Apple TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, on the Outa.tv app, Facebook Watch, streaming with Pride on SVTV Network, and on Channel 31 on the East Coast. You lucky East Coast. I think we're on there like 4 times a week. They're watching the same show over and over again. It's like, the show's brought to you by FanDaddies.com, bringing you the sassiest and classiest clacking fans and hats for prides, EDM parties, sassy selfies, and even sci-fi nerds. Head to FanDaddies.com, support your small businesses. Word of warning, tonight's shenanigans are brought to you by the vodka tastings of Neft Vodka. Pure taste, it's just damn good vodka. It can be drank neat or with any mixer, even Diet Mountain Dew, I learned. I was in a pinch. And they have their new Pride barrel, so we're very excited for Neft Vodka. Did somebody just snort on my set?
That was me.
Lord, I thought y'all were dignified up in Canada. All right, so just a few words of Pride before we dive into our show. LA Pride, On the Rocks will be at LA Pride. I am your official MC. Who's performing, you ask? I don't know, just Christina Aguilera, Anita, MJ Rodriguez from Pose, Eureka, Bob the Drag Queen, and Rebecca Black.
Ooh.
Okay.
Wow.
No, she's dope.
She's
dope.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to take your word for it. I'm going to be like, welcome, Rebecca Black. And she'll probably be like, no, we love Rebecca Black. She's out and proud. I think she's moved on to Monday.
Come on.
But head to laprideinthepark.org for your tickets. It's just going to be a really, really fun day, and I couldn't be more proud to be part of it. Also for Pride, check out one of my most ambitious journalism interviews to date. Check out Metrosource Magazine, nationally on newsstands or at metrosource.com. Check out my in-depth interviews with every cast member and the creator of the new Queer as Folk series, We're Back to Babylon. And I got to watch the show way long time ago, and you've never seen Queer as Folk as inclusive and as colorful. Tony, do you have the picture of the cover? Show it, please. All that hard work.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah. So we did 7 interviews in 1 week.
Yeah.
Come on, green hair.
So we got, yes, there you go. We got the exclusive, so grab it on newsstands now. Very interesting articles, and I'm excited to see what people think of the new show. All right, let's get on to the show. Let me introduce our guest for today, helping us kick off Pride Month in style. Pepper Mashay, get ready to dive in the pool one more time. Yay! The iconic, legendary queen of the dance floor, Pepper Mashay, has another banger out just in time for Pride that will pack the dance floor to pre-pandemic levels. Dancin Lights Part 2, which is slated to fully drop in June.
Yes.
We'll have 11 remixes by some of the hottest DJs out there, including radio and extended remixes. Pepper Mashay is a 5-time top 10 Billboard charting artist who was influenced by the 70s music scene. Pepper changed her life's journey from journalist, by the way, to singer after getting on stage to perform her own songs and finding an instant connection with the audience. Starting out as a session singer in LA, she has sang for the likes of Tina Turner, Cher, Mick Jagger, Kebmo, Celine Dion, and I actually have a full list. You're not going to believe the full list. We're going to go over that in just a little bit.
Yes.
In the year 2000, Pepper transitioned from session singer to solo artist with her international chart single, Dive in the Pool. And I tell you, it's still sung at every other Pride. We did Palm Springs together.
Yes, we did.
Girl, when you sang that, didn't matter who. Gay, straight, everything in between, old, young. everybody was dancing in the pool.
Come on.
It's always been considered the unofficial single for Showtime series Queer as Folk, the U.S. version. So it's kind of perfect that we're both kind of in the Queer as Folk world now. She has celebrated success after success. She lives with her wife, Ellen, and she has something to say about being queer at an older age, supporting trans youth, and getting people out to vote, which, girl, nobody relax, because this vote, you're not ready for this vote that's going to be important. Please welcome back Pepper Mashay.
Thank you, Alexander.
It's always such an honor to have you. Also joining us, rIVerse, Toronto-based pop and R&B music group, heralded for their high-concept art, pop, and inclusive messaging. As a diverse collective of BIPOC. BIPOC, is that how you say it up in Canada? Okay, because we do all the letters out here. It's good cardio. It's like blah, 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 blah. Queer and body positive members. The group has independently released 2 hit albums, garnered nearly 1 million social media followers across the platforms. They released their single, which is my favorite single, and I sing it all around the house. I sing it on dates, and I sing it when I'm bored. I sing it just all the time. Baby Boo, which we're actually going to take a little look at, off their critically acclaimed album, Poison Ivy, which has been praised for its innovative genre-bending aesthetic and deeply personal lyrical content, which tackles themes ranging from self-love to systemic racism. Recently, the group received international attention when the group's founder, Justice, came out as HIV positive in solidarity with National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. The group's been profiled by ET Canada, Ear Milk, The Advocate, and more. I did a little interview with them, too, for Metro Source Magazine. Please welcome rIVerse, Justice, Monroe, Khadija, and Zach. But Zach won't let you tag him on Instagram, so I'm not sure. It says cannot tag.
Oh, no.
Oh my God.
It's like that's not what your grinder said.
She doesn't have grind.
Come on.
Somebody's impersonating you then. I was like, Okay, rIVerse, I just have to know, for our audience, you know, you're in Canada, you guys have toured everywhere, but you are in LA, not just for a quick visit, you're here for like a month. I have to know, what do you think of LA now that you've been here for a bit?
Honestly, I understand why this is the mecca of entertainment. I understand why this is the place rIVerse needs to be. It's fantastic here. The people have been great. The sun is amazing. We thrive in it. It just feels amazing to feel like we're in the right place with the right people doing kind of the right things and on our path forward. I'm still recovering from your little introduction piece. I'm like a little teary-eyed.
You're like, who are they?
Yeah,
I
like,
love them.
So just generally being here and having experiences like this and meeting Pepper and my mind is blown.
I will have you know about LA, though. You know, people think of it as like the land of dreams, and you see the reality of LA. You see the poverty that's going on. You see the homelessness. But then you also see how difficult it is to break into the industry. There's no such thing as an overnight sensation anymore. Even if you're like an influencer on TikTok or whatnot. I know you love your TikTok. But it does, you come to LA and you have to hustle. You have to work. You have to make the connections.
Totally.
It's nonstop. And sometimes it doesn't happen for years. And that is the reality of LA. So people come here with like big dreams. It's like, oh God, I gotta work. Yeah, bitch, you gotta work.
You know, I've gone on a few dates since I've been here, like 3.
Come on.
Today.
And the first, the gentleman was like, "Oh, I'm a videographer." I'm like, "Okay, really, that's really cool." And then the second was, "I'm a videographer." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's really strange." And then the third is, "I'm a videographer," and I'm like, "Okay, I see a pattern here." I see a pattern here.
And I work for OnlyFans. Which is no shame in that.
That's good
but
work.
there's
That's
a
good
lot.
work.
Oh, girl, if I could do it, I would. It's like, mine would just be like baking pies all day on my OnlyFans. But what is some of the reality of LA that you guys have? Because it's not like you're just visiting, like I said, where it's the excitement, then you have to like, day after day, you're away from home, you're out of your suitcase, and so what's that kind of reality like?
You know what? Well, first things first, we are no stranger to the hustle.
Yes.
Like, we've been together independently for 10 years, so coming out here and still hustling is not new. We're used to it. And we are also just blessed to have great people who are supporting us, such as our publicist. I won't say his name because he doesn't like to like have his name shared or his face shared, so I'm just gonna like call
Is that
him
a good publicist?
No, he's great.
He's very
He's
shy.
phenomenal. But
That's very cute.
we do have support, which means so much to us being an independent act. But what was the other question that you asked?
Like the reality and
The real. Okay, so I'm gonna spill the tea.
Keep it
Spill
real,
it.
real.
All the way
Hashtag
real.
honesty.
Is it like
Honesty.
Big Brother where you're in the same Airbnb?
Oh my God,
It's like-
yes.
Trust
Okay,
and believe.
Totally.
Trust and
Listen.
believe.
So we had to have a meeting yesterday because I don't
Oh, that
listen.
real.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
It's real.
yeah.
Okay. I was
So
like,
the-
which real?
The reality of the situation is, we are, as much as we're family, we are literally siblings. Like, we've been family for over 10 years. We've known each other since we were kids. We still, living together in the same quarters for how many hours a day? You don't really have, sometimes you don't have the space to kind of go and do your own thing all the time. You sometimes butt heads. So like we've been duking it out a
every
little
family,
bit.
yeah.
We've been duking it out a little bit. And we
Does
had a
have
meeting
2 more
yesterday.
weeks to go.
Oh my God.
In the news, reverse.
But you know
No,
what?
R.I.P.
The great thing, this is why I brought this up, not just talk about a situation that might be perceived as negative, but the great thing about us is we know how to deal with the issues. We are not contractually obligated, so it's not like we have to be here. The thing is, we've learned how to communicate whenever there is an issue. We sit down at the table and we're like, okay, bitch, let's put it all on the table and speak the truth. What is it that is causing these issues or whatever the case may be? And we talk about it and we work it out. And that's why we've lasted for 10 years.
Yes.
I love that. And this is what I want the show to be like, because you all have been on. Pepper, you've been on. And when we're heading into Pride, especially when we see corporate Pride and Targets flashing out Pride and all that, it's like, Pride is just so lovely. It's been a year. It's been 2 years. So let's talk about some of the reality. And this is kind of the reality of Pride. It's the reality of getting along with your family, not always getting along with your family, but how do you move on? How do you join hands? And open communication. I think a lot of our divisiveness in the LGBTQ plus community comes from us just not communicating.
A lack of respect.
Yes.
Making assumptions,
Yeah.
but also being so riled up that people are afraid to ask us questions.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be as damaging too. It's like, yes, I want to respect you, but I have questions.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially somebody like me that puts my foot in my mouth more than a Taco Bell. It's like, "Meh." But that's good. So you had the meeting, and
And we're still here. We're still, listen. It's
If you got a phone call this morning, like, unfortunately, reverse won't be. No, we're here.
no.
We're
we
here.
love each other. We respect each other, and we do that so that we can push past and move past and learn how to respect each other better.
Yes.
Now you know why I've been solo.
That's
That's
very
real.
real.
That's real.
That is
That's
very
real.
real.
I learned a long time ago that if you're not ready to be in a group,
Yeah.
which I was in a group of 2 other young women, and I was the older one. I was in a really great group called Voice Boxing
Okay.
with Lenny White, who's the famous drummer who was with Chick Corea,
Okay.
Stanley Clark, that crazy guitar player of theirs who went off in his separate direction. And when that project ended, and it failed, all because of political mayhem within the label. Someone came up to me at a show and says, "You too good to sing background." And I was singing for Vonda Shepard, who was the woman for Alec McBeal.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
He says, "You go to Europe, sing dance music for DJ." And you're like, "Okay." I had no idea, Zach. No idea what he was talking about. And then when I decided to make the jump to do dance music, I said, "You know what? I'll be better off by myself." But I miss the camaraderie.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
The togetherness of other people being around.
Yeah.
To communicate, to talk over the material together.
Yeah.
Instead of being one force.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But to your point, it's really understanding what you're good at, what you can excel at, and also when to know, hey, you know what, this is not working. It's okay to make a decision to make a change or to move on. And
Right.
sometimes you come back, sometimes you don't. But it's just being self-aware
Yes.
and being more in love with the actual art that you're putting out rather than just the image.
Yes.
You know, we know there's some people out there that are not like a sincere quality, but the image is good, but then you listen to their music and you're like, fast forward.
Skip. Oops.
Pepper, but I wanted to know, you came from Indiana. You moved from Indiana when you were in your 20s. to pursue your career. When was that kind of choice that you were like, well, let's give up the home that I know and the area that I know, and let's take that jump? What was that like?
Military brat.
Oh, okay.
My stepfather was in the Army, and my mother was strictly from Indiana. She basically she told the husband at the time, I do not go to Europe. I do not fly on airplanes. So what we did, we ended up in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri.
Come on.
Okay.
I know all of
Fort Leonard.
Okay.
Do you know, baby?
No.
You know?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
I do. I do.
It's very Mayberry like, if you know the TV show. And being kids from around the world, you know, I gravitated toward that. That was my element. And I was there for 12 years until I decided, I think I'll marry my boyfriend because he's more like my dad. He's responsible. And we were both 19.
Oh, my.
Oh, wow.
Your first single should have been Daddy Issues.
Oh, my.
That's a good title
That's
right
good.
now.
That's a good
You hear
title.
Write
me?
it down.
It's my biography, that's all.
So that's how I ended up not living in Indiana, but I was born there because of my mother's previous marriage.
Okay.
And now I have all these step brothers and sisters that are still there. And matter of fact, one of the prides that I'm doing next week is Indianapolis Pride.
Awesome.
So I'll get to see family.
See, family.
Yes.
That's so
gonna be
nice.
so great.
We have so much shared. So I used to travel to Indianapolis all the time to visit my dad growing up, and all of my half brothers and half sisters. I would see them, you know, when I would visit in the summer times.
Yes.
And
world.
Indianapolis, the from far, far, far away.
You know it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Small town.
Wow. Yeah.
I love that both groups are here because Pepper, you know, you are part of Pride history with your music. In rIVerse, you guys celebrate the music of the 90s and the 2000s. It's like this circle of music has come together, but you're looking at the music industry from totally different sides,
Absolutely.
different nations even. I wanted to know, Pepper, how has the music industry changed the most since when you first started? And I'm going to ask rIVerse as well, because you guys started in 2012, right?
12.
Yeah.
Well, this group, we came together in 2012.
Right.
But yeah. Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I started basically when that person walked up on the stage and told me I should go to Europe. I went to London. I was told that someone had left a cassette at a label called Azuli Records in London. And from that relationship, the people called me and they said, we would like for you to join our label. On this label, they had Thelma Houston, a wonderful singer by the name of Ada Dyer, mega divas.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking to myself, am I capable of being able to hang with these women? Because they had history, even if with me not being in the dance world.
Yeah.
I went there, wrote 9 songs, one after another. But then he told me, he says, you know what, Pepper? I've decided to go with the DJs. So I'm not really promoting artists anymore. And that kind of destroyed me, babe, because I thought that I was on my way with this little label.
Yeah.
But before you know it, I ended up singing from that into Bobby Caldwell. What you won't do
I love Bobby Caldwell.
for love.
I love that
You
song.
tried everything.
Oh my God.
Can't give up.
Right.
Yes.
So I was
Sorry.
with him.
I just had a moment.
I was
I
with
love
him
that
for
song.
17 years
Wow.
That's amazing.
until the economy started breaking down, and that changed. So when I decided to get into dance music, I was known as a house music artist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Soulful house.
Yeah, like Cece Peniston.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Who's a good friend.
Come on.
Wow.
Amazing.
And,
Gagged.
and with that background, it was almost like, okay, I can do this. What they call garage,
Yeah, yeah.
Garage?
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
the bomb,
Yeah, come on.
Yes.
Artful Dodger,
Yes.
Julie McKnight, people like that.
Okay,
Who
yeah.
used to be married to Brian McKnight.
Oh.
We just had a
Fabulous
conversation
singer.
with Brian McKnight like yesterday.
We did,
Yeah.
in the car.
Yeah.
His ex-wife is my hero.
Come
Oh,
on.
right.
Oh my gosh.
She can sing.
Yes.
That kind of background in dance music I was known for. But when I got to America, circuit,
Oh.
the boys got the shirts on.
Right.
And they're just wiggling,
Come on.
right? They're doing their thing.
Yeah.
I got into that, but I've been told that everyone looked at me as being the next big thing at the time, but I didn't know because I was new to dance music. So I didn't know a lot of the genres. And I'm just now getting reacquainted, and now this tribal mess. I call it, honey, it's a banger. I like that sound.
Like Afrobeat?
Boo, I love them,
Okay,
but
yeah.
but I haven't touched them yet because I got this young woman who's a DJ from Cuba
Okay.
Ooh, fun.
that I'm working with.
I
So
love
the
that.
little piece of track that you'll hear
Okay.
will be what she did.
Ooh,
I'm
I
excited.
can't
I'm
wait.
excited.
so excited.
Well, I think that's a big part of music, and that it's totally changed. As we're seeing racial diversity, inclusivity in Hollywood films, now we're seeing it, especially in the music.
Yes.
And so you're hearing sounds from all different parts of the world, and it is an exciting time.
Yes.
Very exciting time. In fact, Michael Feinstein just did the Great American Songbook to country music with country music stars. And we talk about like a blend. You're like, well, no, storytelling in country music is the same as the old standards
Yeah.
when you tell your story in a different way. So it was a perfect mix.
Interesting.
So
That's fun.
I love that. But for rIVerse, you've stopped and started, you've shifted, you've added different elements such as your reactionary videos. Even the way you present your music has changed. How do you personally think that the music industry has changed for the group over this last decade?
It's very interesting because for us, just as kind of alluded to before, like even before the four of us were together, we've all kind of had our own history. So we have our ideas, like we grew up in the 90s, early 2000s. We have our ideas of what the music industry is, and we're constantly having to remind each other that like it's not like that anymore. That is not what
Exactly,
labels are
yes.
looking for. That is not how marketing works anymore. Like get on TikTok. Like it's just it's totally different for us, and we have to kind of it's a mental shift for us a lot of times of like, okay, we have a new song, we have a new single, and we know it's going to be amazing, but like what are the kids doing today? Like, and we're not that old, but like you know what I mean? It feels like
it's
such
changing from year to
such
year.
a huge difference. Yeah.
And you
for
can't just be an
sure.
artist anymore. You have to be the
No.
marketing. You have to be the
Yeah.
business. You have to
Yeah.
be a social media whiz. It's like, can I just sing and do my
Yes.
thing?
And that's it for us because we've been independent for over 10 years and like we have our little like we're not opposed to a label, but we've heard a lot of those horror stories of getting picked up and then you get put on the shelf and nothing happens and we're like if we can control it ourselves then we will as far as we need to, but then we are doing everything. We are the marketing team and the social media managers and the booking agent and the
Stylist,
it is
choreographer,
exhausting.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
one positive thing that I'll just add to that is I think where before you mentioned the word, well, you didn't say the word facade, but in terms
You're
of
fancier than me. I get it, Zach.
the presentation, yeah, the facade, the presentation, of artists. And I think prior there was kind of the I don't want to say illusion, but now I feel real human stories and being able to share that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Social media has allowed for real people to be telling real stories and not be like a label plant or like a label.
This impossible version.
In
that,
2012, when we started, we heard constantly that like we love the music, we love the sound, but we don't get you guys. We don't understand and couldn't see where to place a group like us in the music industry. Whereas today, you're seeing like Lizzo's on TikTok every 2 seconds and Lil Nas X is out there, and like you're seeing so much more diversity because they built their own audiences, and it opens
That's a really good
doors
point.
for groups like us. Yeah.
And being part of a record label does not equal success. In fact, we know that musicians don't make music by putting out albums anymore.
Not at all.
People don't even listen to full albums. You know, it's like, oh, there's so much great music that's going unlistened to. It's part of a collection. People are like just listening to the singles because that's all they can just stream that. It's so easy. You know, when you would get like Madonna's new CD and you would just listen to every song over and over and over, even the B-side, you'd be like, oh, you would get the theme of the full album. Now it's like, we got to impress you in 30 seconds or less, which is so challenging. Because you can't.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Okay, tell us how you
Sounds
really
bad.
feel. Okay.
That was exhausting.
So, in honor of Pride, I wanted to know if we could share our coming out stories. Whether you're part of the queer community or an ally or what have you. What's your own coming out story? And it doesn't have to be your sexuality. And Pepper, I want to know first with you. You know, you've been entrenched in the gay culture. It was a few years ago I learned that you had a wife, Ellen. I was like, wait, what? She's one of us? I had no clue. So I wanted to know when you kind of first felt that part of your life and what your kind of coming out story was.
It was really pretty important to me at the time because it was at the downturn of the industry. No shows. People weren't flying. You know, 9/11 happened. Everything was just coming apart. And there was a lot of transition in my life. I had already came from a marriage of 27 years to being on my own for the first time in 12 years, doing this whole musical journey. And I looked in the mirror, and I keep telling my wife this all the time. I said, I looked in the mirror and I said, God, please send me someone who would accept me for me. And I ended up doing an AIDS benefit with an organization here in Los Angeles called Life Group.
Was it there's Saddle Up?
Saddle Up. And because they give you a horse,
Oh.
and being a kid from the Midwest, I was used to that riding. They would always give me a horse as long as I was the entertainment, and they would have an auction and a barbecue. And lo and behold, I end up on this trail, and I'm watching this woman up on a mound from the from the trail. She's wrestling with not one horse but two.
Oh my. Oh my.
Her horses, and she will tell you that she had to take both of them because the other one would destroy the stable if either one was separate. And I said, wow, that's really strange. So I'm the last horse in the trail, and go forward. I'm getting ready for my show. Nothing to it, no big deal. I'm doing my thing, singing Dive in the Pool and one little ditty after another. And then I come off the stage and this woman is just smiling at me.
That's so sweet.
And she had chaps on.
Yes, chaps. That's
Yes,
a
me
lick.
too.
I love that.
That's something we share.
And I swear to you, it was like when you get hit with a little hammer.
Some might call that.
And we just talked for a few minutes, and then she left, and we exchanged emails and information, and before you know it, after what was it, babe, 6 weeks or so, I finally went out to where she lived on a farm. It was like the Beverly Hillbillies.
Oh my gosh.
This beautiful area, which I had lived in Los Angeles for almost 35, 40 years, you guys. And I had never heard of
Never been there.
Palos Verdes Peninsula.
Oh.
It is gorgeous out there. But it is out there.
And hopefully you'll get to see it once you spend time with me.
Yeah. Okay.
You'll have to come over,
Yes,
and I'll
I'd
take you.
love
We'll take you
to.
around.
That'd be
But I went to her farm and I never left.
Oh. You're so
I-
cute.
I
Something out of a storybook. It's so
I
cute.
never left because I felt that we were
Oh.
together.
Yeah. I love that.
And then when it came time for marriage equality, she asked me to marry her, and I was saying, don't you want to be single a little bit longer? And she says, no, I think we need to be together. And it's been like that since.
I love that.
Role
I'm
model.
so happy for
That's
you.
so beautiful.
Beautiful.
Now, Pepper, was it difficult coming out, though, later in life, and especially when the industry had
No.
known you a certain way?
You know what?
Your family had known you a certain way.
It was like I told my son the next day after I went home to get my clothes. I said, son, I think I found someone. and it's a woman. He says, Mom, I'm happy for you because you've been all by yourself. I was raising my grandbaby by myself. I had a bipolar son that I didn't know who was running in and out of our lives. So it was time for me to make a move to take care of self. You know what I mean?
Good for you.
So I did that, and I had always been a champion of gay rights, LGBTQIA plus. You know, because I just didn't understand how anyone could hate a community of people so virulent as not to let them live. And I had kids coming up to me after they would hear me do Dive in the Pool, and they said, Miss Pepper, a lot of us came out to your music, and they would be in
100%.
tears.
Yep. 100%.
These people would be in tears, and I'm standing there thinking, what is going on? Because I thought it was one of the dumbest songs that I had ever did in my life. Because y'all have to understand, I had 20 to 35 years of singing.
Yeah. And then she screamed, "Dive in the pool," and that was the one.
And
Get
Barry,
soaking wet. 1, 2, 3, 4.
and Barry is telling me, all I want you to do is to talk. And the thing that came up, the idea was that, let me pretend that I'm my mother, who used to always yell at us.
I hear that.
Coming to eat.
I hear that.
She'd go out in the backyard of the base where we were living in Texas, and she'd scream out our names. Jean Marie, it's time to dinner.
It's so cute.
I love that.
Just yelling. And that's how I came up with it. And then I went back to work. And the next 6 months that I find out,
Icon.
Yes.
the DJ pool.
Legend.
Iconic.
The DJ pool is blowing up at the Winter Music Conference
Absolutely.
in Florida. They're saying, baby, I think you got a hit.
Yeah.
And this was before email.
I love that.
Amazing.
Right, Tony?
I
Just
love that.
crazy.
What a
Tony
good
would know
story.
before so much.
What a
Story.
good story.
That's
So
so
lovely.
But it is, you are, like, you're challenging the crowd. It's like, come out wherever you are, come party. This is your life. You take control of that.
Yeah.
It's not just about diving into an actual
No.
pool. And I have seen you perform that song in little venues for like Saddle Up LA, and I've seen you sing it for thousands of people. Here's the thing: is like all you have to do is hear. You could go like fast forward to 5:06, and you know exactly. Let's get soaking wet. And it's just like she's able to just dive in and out. Like
I love
and
it.
Literally, I've seen you perform it everywhere. She's like, okay, that's
Believe what I'm telling you guys. You talking about a fluke.
That's
It
how
was
it
a
happens
major-
sometimes. That's
it was
how
a major
happens.
fluke. It was the number 2 song under music for that whole year.
Wow.
I love
And-
that.
And I didn't write it. I wish I did, Barry.
where's my sheet music? And it's like a post-it with your lyrics. Here you are.
That's so cute.
Here you are, Miss Pepper.
Post it. No, I love it. And I love that story. I feel like it's all June I get so emotional. I love Pride so much. But I think it's really important. Like, I don't know, like, at what point in your life or what age you guys met, but I'm like, for so many LGBTQ youth, like, they don't ever see an example of, like, there's my future. You know what I mean? Like, you see all the, like, sad stories and the horror stories and the deaths and the people get, like, always tragedy, but to be able to see, like, here are people who found love at whatever stage in their lives, and they're just living out the rest of their lives happily. That could be you too. Like, it's
Exactly.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And the majority, like your point, the majority of Hollywood films that are come out deal with youth, because we know the youth are the ones that are asking for it and they're engaging, such as social media. But there is a population that we often forget about, and that is the elder of our community, especially during Pride, when it's all about Pride and parties and this. It's like, well, there's a population that should be celebrating Pride right alongside us. Where's their part?
Exactly.
Love it.
All right, rIVerse, share your coming out stories. Whether it's it could be any part of your life. You coming out as an entertainer, coming out as what have you. But where was it a moment in your life that you kind of had to make a decision to tell your truth?
Something does come to mind for me, and it was a moment where I was fully sharing my honest truth, and it was coming out in a different way. I remember going to a sports game, and I was entertaining someone, and I was out in my life, but in my personal life, and in this kind of setting, I was entertaining someone, and I wasn't really open with like obviously my sexuality at the time, and they had their girlfriend there, and this is a male I'm talking about. And the girlfriend, I remember at one point was like, "Oh, are you dating currently? Does she have a name?" And in that moment, time stopped, and 2 doors presented themselves in front of me. And there was the easy door, what I perceived as the easy door, and then there was a door where it was just like, you know what? I don't want to be that. I don't want to be anything beyond what is authentically me, and to just live a life where I can share that and be proud of that, and really speak those words like I am proud. So my response to her was, well, his name, is such and such. And from that moment, the couple that I was entertaining, they started to share with me that they go on pride circuits. This gentleman was a doctor, and he would like put on like colorful thongs, and they would have a colorful umbrella. And I do not think I would have learned that information if I didn't share my truth. That was their coming out. And so here we were, kind of both wearing our shells, and like kind of like nervous to share our inner guts. And from one person sharing their truth, it just was this beautiful moment where it was like someone else got to as well. And that was kind of like in a way a coming out for me too, because from that point forward it was a turning point for me, where I just wanted to just live along as straight as possible along that line of truth. And that's really what a lot of what pride is for me today.
What for the audience that's listening that may be thinking of coming out, it doesn't have to be some big coming out statement on social media. It can be in a small way, one person and another person, but like you said, it's kind of that rush. It's like, this is for me, and it's like the key that opens up that one door that you choose.
That's really, I think, like your question, I always say, and it's really funny to me, that like I never came out. There was never any one moment where I was like, here it is, I'm coming out. But whenever people ask, like, when did you come out? I'm like, literally every day. Every time I meet a new person, the assumption is always, you're straight, you're this, whatever. And like every time you introduce somebody into your life, you have to share this news over and over again. And I'm like, that's kind of what it feels like for me. And I'm like, it was really, there was a time we did a tour in British Columbia, which is where I grew up, and my parents were there. And my parents had set up one of the shows for us, and one guy came and he was like, oh, you guys are the gay group, or like, three-fourths of you are the gay group. And it was literally that. I was big grown person. I was like, does my mom not know that I'm queer? Like, I literally never thought that I had to say it out loud until that moment. And I was like, oh, I guess maybe there should have been like I'm coming out, but it just never happened. It's just like, I live my life, and every time rIVerse we do things and we go out and we're doing PR or whatever, I'm like, I just kind of we're constantly talking about it. So I'm just assuming that I'm coming out every day. Yeah. Here I am, still queer. Like,
but it's funny because people do make that assumption about you, even on social media.
Yeah.
That's
It's very true. It's very interesting.
Well, Justice, you kind of came out twice, so to speak, publicly.
Yeah, well, I mean, I came out gay. I mean, obviously, when I was 14.
There's no assumption with this one.
Especially in LA, you're like, European or gay? I don't know.
Well, you know what? Now, yes. When she met me, you would never know.
Oh my gosh.
You would never know. I only started to tap into my divine feminine energy like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Like the Baby Boom music video.
Yeah. Yes. That was it.
That was it. Because before that, I was like hyper masculine, like army cadet, like trust. But that video, for me, it was a statement. It was a moment where I was like, okay, I remember growing up, because I came out when I was 14.
That's
and
really young.
My whole my whole family turned their backs on me. Everybody except my mom. And so anyway, I'm not gonna get into all that. But in the Baby Boom music video, I remember being told that boys wear blue, they don't wear pink. You can't play with dolls. No, you can't take dance lessons. My sister will take dance, but I have to play sports. So in that video, I was like, I'm going to wear a tutu. I'm gonna wear a tutu. It's gonna be pink. I'm gonna have makeup on. I'm gonna do all the things that I was told boys can't do. And I'm gonna dance and I'm gonna flick my hair and I'm gonna. It was a statement for me.
Yeah.
So
Gorgeous.
thank you.
Oh,
That
look at you.
That was
Come
it.
on, Tutu.
But if you see the shirt that's being covered, it's a Biggie Smalls. It's a Notorious B.I.G. So I still have to show you I'm still hood.
Yeah.
I'm still hood.
Don't get it twisted.
But this hood dude is still gonna rock all that pink and that skirt and that makeup and be authentically who he is.
That's awesome.
And what I'm so proud of with that video is that we have this wonderful fan base called the Ivy League. If any of you are watching,
Shout out
hi.
Ivy League. Yes, Ivy League.
They're so supportive of us, and we had a lot of them who are very, very young. Remember we did this. What was it, like a Zoom?
Yeah, we did
chat
like a virtual meet and greet because it was COVID.
Yeah.
So we did a virtual meet and greet on Zoom.
with our street team, and there was one particular young man who. What did he say to me again? He said that he had never seen anybody that looked like him doing what I was doing in that video. And it like changed his life. And he at the time, what it sounded like is he wasn't entirely sure kind of how he identified, like in terms of whether he was queer or not. It sounded like it was more like I grabbed that it was like a straight young black male. But anyway, I'm not gonna. Anyway, but no. So anyway, that moment in itself, like, was so powerful for me, and it really just solidified, validated the direction that I've chosen to go in as an artist within this group. So that video was another type of coming out for me.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I also on February 7th of 2021, I told our YouTube audience of almost 700,000 people that I was HIV positive. And that for me was it wasn't hard because I came out when I was 14. There's a reason why. I can't live my life with lies or secrets. It literally it stifles me. And I knew that at some point in time I'm going to have to share it. And I didn't have to because these people don't really know me. They know your internet
The perception
persona,
of you, yeah.
and I don't know them, so I didn't owe anybody anything. But it was for me. And I'll tell you one really quick story that I will never forget. So the day before I came out with that video, I was going home, and in the wind, this is like, I promise you, this is so real. In the wind was flapping this piece of paper that I didn't really pay attention to. And I was like, oh, garbage. And then I went inside my house. But then the next day, like right after I released, we hit send on that video, and then all the press started coming out on Black National HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, February 7th. My partner at the time, he looked out the window and he's like, look at that. And I look out the window, and right in front of me in the bushes was this piece of paper that said in all caps, free. Wow. That was the same piece of paper that was flapping around the day before. And I saw it because it had this like red double line on the paper, and I could see that it was the same piece of paper. And I literally was like, oh my God, like it's like the universe was like, now you're free.
Yes.
And I started crying. It was like I will never forget that moment. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Come on.
Beautiful.
Well, and kind of sharing that feminine and masculine energy. We wonder why the U.S. is having so many older conservatives trying to limit what our youth are doing, because our youth are expressing themselves that way. There are terms like non-binary and fluid that are just now part of our vernacular that used to be just a little part of our community, and now everybody's talking about it.
Yeah.
Actors in Hollywood, big names are coming out as non-binary and fluid. As a journalist, now when I get press releases, there's a section that tells you how to address their pronouns, or how they identify, or an actor who has come out as non-binary. One of the actors from Queer as Folk, when I interviewed him 2 months ago, he was he, and now he is non-binary, and he went through that kind of journey. Jessie Keitel, who was also in Queer as Folk, was on Big Sky as non-binary, and now she has come out as trans during this whole process. And it's also to all of our lives, and to your life too, is that our evolution never stops.
Exactly.
There are so many terms that you could be this one day, this the next day, and it doesn't matter because we're always evolving, and there's nobody to tell you stay in that box that you're in. Nothing.
Yes.
It's an exciting time, but it's also very dangerous towards the other side, and that's why they're trying to limit all of our voices. Monroe, I want to know, for you, what is your kind of coming out? story.
My coming out story, kind of like Khadijah. I don't think I really had a moment where I like came out to everybody. I do remember one little story that I told like my close little friends. We went out to eat at this wing place, and I was so nervous because I knew that that's something that I wanted to tell them. Because I had recently at that time gotten into the show The L Word, and I was obsessed. Like, and also like musicians like Tegan and Sarah. Like for me, when I was watching them, I was like, oh my god. I was like, why am I feeling these things?
Yeah.
What's happening to me? You know. So, anyways, we're eating wings, and I put
Come
the
on,
wings.
wings.
I love wings.
I'm hungry. Let's get some Postmates.
So I put the wings down, and I was like, guys, I have to tell you something. And they were like, they're eating like, and I was like, you know, I think I also like women. And then they're like, pass the hot sauce. And I was just like, but no, I'm telling you, like, this is something important to me. Like, are you guys okay with that? I was like, do you guys still love me? And they were like,
your question.
they were like, yeah, of course. Pass the hot sauce. You know, but it was something because you don't love people for their sexuality. You know, you love them as a whole. And they loved me for me despite who I loved. And they were just like, no, we love you, Monroe, as a whole, as everything that you are, everything that you represent. And it doesn't matter about who you love or, you know, all that stuff. Right. So for me, that was kind of my, I guess, coming out in a sense. But also to my family, more so to my mother. I was in a long-term relationship with a woman, and it was really, really hard for her to accept that. I'm an Italian woman, so I grew up in a full Italian family, like hardcore, like I bleed sugo, which is sauce in Italian. And so to her, she was like, "Oh, it's just your friend," and I had to live with that term that she was going by. She at the time was my friend, and it was always a friend. And then at one time, I was like, "Mom, this is my partner." I would like to bring them to Thanksgiving. I would like to bring them to Christmas. I would like to bring them over to our house and introduce them as my partner. And it was just battles. It was battles and battles. And it's not that she's not a bad person. She didn't understand.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't know what this world was because, you know, my mother is an immigrant and she came from a world so different from the world that we live today. Right? So it took some time for her to understand and then, you know, finally accept it. And by the time she accepted my partner coming into the family, we kind of like fizzled out. You know, and like that was like trauma in itself. So, but it was in that moment of the breakup where my mother said, you know, if they love you, they will, like, because I was like, well, they're never going to come back and be with me and I'm going to be alone forever. And they were like, she was like, no, like, if they love you, if whatever's meant to be, whoever it is, they will come to you. It will be for you. If this person is not for you, you will find someone else, whoever they may be, maybe a man, woman, whoever.
No.
And it was in that moment that I was like, okay, she gets it. She understands, you know? But I think being a queer woman, and I used the term queer before, I was like pansexual, bisexual, and I think the beauty of, you know, being a part of this community is that, like you were saying, you don't have to stick to one term your entire life. You're completely evolving all the time. So for me, the word queer also means free. So I'm able to be free and do and love and be who I am no matter what. So still being a queer woman, I am now in a straight relationship, quote unquote, but I'm still very much part of this community. Doesn't mean that I lose my, you know, my queer card.
Your queer card's gone.
You know, that doesn't mean that. And I've found a partner who is also very much accepting, and not only accepting but willing to learn and engage and be a part of it, and like ask questions that sometimes they'll be like, oh, is it okay if I ask that? And I was like, no, ask those questions.
Please. That's what I'm saying. It's like, we can't be afraid to ask questions because we'll never learn.
And it's so important. The more you ask, the more that you're learning, right? And just the fact that they are so open themselves to be willing to be a part of any situation, like, oh, I'm gonna go to, you know, this gay event, or I'm gonna go to Pride, and like, absolutely, let's go, we're ready, like, I'm gonna put my shirt on too, you know, like, so supportive. And it's just, as people, you know, when you find your people that are supportive of you and who you are, who you love, who you represent, you can be and do whatever you want in life.
Yeah, come on, girl.
And I do love that we've taken queer back as a positive for our community.
Yes.
Because to your point, it's like, it's the most fluid term out there. It can mean whatever you want it to mean. It means everything, and not limiting it. It's like Buddhism for our community. It's like, just, you know, be at peace.
Yes.
Like queer. I love that word now.
Yes.
And before, it used to be so scared when you would hear it. You would like flinch because, God, it was such a bad word.
Yeah.
But we have taken it back. We've made it look good.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right.
All right, who's ready for a little music?
Come on.
Yes,
Yes.
music.
Pepper Mashay, Dancing Lights, Part 2. What's it all about? And what inspired you to be like, okay, now's the time to release this?
Baby, it started out being a lyric that was given to DJs to put music to. And like I was telling Zach, this particular person who won the contest about 15 years ago, he didn't give me his information. He didn't give me his name.
I love that for him.
Oh no.
If you're watching.
Me, I know. And I'm going to tell him, you know, if you put it out, you know, I'm coming after you because it'll be part 1. And then it'll be up to you to get the remixers.
All right.
Because for the second version, I met this wonderful DJ remixer woman from Cuba who happens to be a drummer. And I told her, I said, wouldn't it be great if we could put a reggaeton
Come on, reggaeton.
version of the track? And our version of reggaeton, we were told by promoters, it's not reggaeton, it's garacha.
Okay.
Which is the faster version, which is like if you have Skrillex meeting J Balvin.
Okay.
Love it.
Interesting.
And Bad Bunny, from what I understand.
Oh, I love Bad Bunny.
I don't
Bad Bunny,
know who Bad Bunny is, so you'll have to teach me who Bad Bunny is.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
You guys are so cute. I just want to take you home.
But this is the version. This is what they're putting out is the faster version. So what we came up with, the little piece that I'm going to play for you is the tribal.
Ooh.
Which I love the sound because it's like pots and pans banging. Bringing everybody to
the kitchen.
Let's go. That's right, boo.
Dive in the Kitchen was the original title. It's like, girl, I got you covered there.
And her name is DJ Marisol Music.
Come on, DJ Marisol Music.
Yes.
Yes.
Follow.
Here's Pepper Mashay singing Dancin' Lights, Part 2.
Lord. Yeah. Well. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. Every time he takes me in his arms and thrills me with his charms, I lose my senses. When we head out on the floor, that's when I lose control. You break down my defenses. Thrill me with your love's desire. Can't you feel my heart so fire? Never knew that love could be so right. Tonight, when dancing with my baby, 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 baby. Yeah, baby. Move to the left, move to the right. Keep bumping, jumping, keep jumping, bumping. Move to the left, move to the right. Keep bumping, jumping, keep jumping, bumping. Yeah, yeah.
Come on! Hey, move to the left. Come on, move to the right. Come on, keep jumping, bumping. Hey, keep jumping, bumping.
Oh,
Yeah. I love
Did somebody say collaboration?
Period.
And I'll introduce you all.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God, Pepper, every time you come sing, last time you were here, you sang House of the Rising Sun.
yes, baby.
And you sang it totally a cappella.
Yes.
And our audience just went crazy. My heart was just like, because you do sing so many different genres. You've sung as Sister Jean.
Which is, I'm doing a country project.
Oh, there you go.
Because I found out that Monica, y'all know who Monica is.
Like Brandy Monica?
Like Monica.
When I read that she was getting ready, and I'm gonna say this, I was doing it 20 years ago, and I knew that I didn't have a fighting chance in the market because of the way things were. So I put it on the back burner. Well, I'm bringing it out now. Sister Jean McLean, which is my real name. So I have my songwriting partner on that, and the woman is bugging the mess out of me. Y'all, she calls me up every day. Any word? What you doing? What are we gonna do?
Like, I'm farming.
Fighting with horses.
I'm wrestling horses.
I can't leave them by themselves.
My friend is, her name is Lori Kasdan. I've known this woman since the 80s. Fantastic songwriter. But when she started working with me on the acoustic guitar, you have to kind of pull back on the songs a little bit, the lyrics. And I call them speed bumps. If you're not hitting that groove with the rhythm. So that's how we worked, and we came up with 20 songs that been sitting on the shelf since the early 90s.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Pepper, here's just a list of some of the big names that you've done session work with. Peter Frampton, Lenny Kravitz, Cher, Neil Diamond, Gladys Knight, Celine Dion, Olivia Newton-John, Tina Turner, Mick Jagger, Ray Charles, Julio Iglesias, Bob Dylan, Aaron Neville, even Hugh Laurie, and you toured around the world with him, by the way. Wow. What have you learned the most from watching these kind of legends and then becoming one yourself? And is there a session that really sticks out in your memory that's like, wow, that's an icon?
When I did Tina Turner in the early 90s, I was called in, and this was through Robbie Neville, if anybody knows who he is.
Any relation to Aaron?
No. C'est la vie.
Okay.
C'est la vie, c'est la vie.
Okay.
That's High School Musical.
Oh, what?
Wait a minute. We're not there yet. We're not there yet. Everybody calm down. Shift it back.
Okay.
All three of them.
What else?
He did all three of them.
That is a very small world.
Pepper, your mind's going to be blown.
He put me on Tina's record. He put me on Mick Jagger doing the duet with him on Think, which is a James Brown.
Is
That's Robbie.
Hey.
Right? For some reason, he took a liking to me for
some reason.
Even Helen
Give
Keller's like, I
yourself
love her
some
music.
credit, please.
I had this voice where I love to sing lower, like Michael McDonald or Peter Gabriel. Those inflections that we sometimes do when we want to sing like someone. Dave Matthews is the same way.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, you need to use that voice. So what he started doing, he started moving me around on these sessions, and he put me on Tina's What's Love Got to Do with It movie. Oh my gosh. I got to bring in two other baddest singers ever in the city. Jackie Goucher, who's a famous singer here in the LA area, and Lynn Davis, who worked hard for a lot of people as far as singing falsetto.
Okay.
Yeah, and we did the backgrounds for the movie while Tina would go and work with Michael Peters with the dancers.
Oh my goodness.
So she was basically doing 2 jobs, coming to take care of us with the live band, and then would go out to Walt Disney Studios.
Wow.
And for him, I never said thank you to him. Because by the time that when a singer like me, I was just all over the place singing for everybody. But when she hit me in my diaphragm and she said, "I want to hear you sing from there." Wow. This woman comes in, look like Chanel, like a walking model, gorgeous at the time when I saw her. I couldn't believe it. And she said, "I want to hear you sing it from there." And it was an epiphany to me.
Wow.
Don't be scared, because we spent 2 glorious days with her. And out of that day, I'll never forget, Holly Knight. You probably guys don't know her, but she was before Diane Warren.
Okay.
Wow.
Writer?
Writer.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
I wanna kiss you all over again. She wrote that with her partner.
Okay.
The woman came in way out to here, getting ready to have a baby with there she is,
Beautiful.
whole new life.
Wow.
And she was so gracious to me. And with Tina says, "Okay, I'm giving y'all 2 days. We did the work on the first day. The second day, let's take pictures."
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. That's
She just leveled the playing field for me.
I love that.
That's amazing.
You know, but Robbie Neville, thank you, Robbie, wherever you at.
Amazing. Well, and that's a good segue. Let's talk about how rIVerse, how you all met each other.
So we met in 2008, auditioning for Toronto did a stage production of High School Musical 2.
Yes.
Right?
That's not crazy.
And we all got cast as leads in the play.
What?
Yeah, and we did 2 different runs of the show, and I was putting music groups together since I was 14.
Yeah.
I wrote my first song when I was 8, so I always knew that I wanted to be in a group and have a certain kind of group, a different kind of group. And so after many different versions of this group and that group, once I met everybody here doing High School Musical, I kind of handpicked everybody, and here we are today, 10 years later.
I'm a handpicked fruit.
Yeah.
We all are.
I love it. And that was kind of your first exposure to like choreography, right?
Absolutely. I mean, I used to think I could dance in my head, but it was not until joining this group and the I guess consistency of rehearsal and performance and just doing what we do for so long that and under the training really of fantastic choreographers, most of which for the bulk of time was Justice himself and Khadijah as my trainer, so I have rIVerse to thank for even bringing just dance period in my life.
Incredible.
But yes, definitely kind of a first in High School Musical. It was all firsts of many.
Well, at Disney, you kind of self-taught yourself singing through Disney songs.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
As every good gay boy does.
As everyone, like, of course.
I always pick the sad songs though, like "Feed the Birds." It's like,
I love that
like sing something fun. It's like, "Brr."
But it's so pretty.
Hunchback of Notre Dame. I was all over that. Like the darkest music.
To me, it was all the Disney songs. It was also my mom's divorcee angst, and so like lots of Alanis Morissette kind of threw her tears in the car, and ABBA, and those were just
I love that.
yeah. But that's kind of where I picked it up, I guess.
Zach, I want to talk to you about something that is not very much talked about during Pride, because we're all focused on the celebration and the Pride events, the pool parties, the EDM parties. And I want to talk about something that you share on social media and you talk very openly about, and that's your journey with sobriety. And so I got a few questions from our listeners and from your fans too. There's just like the elderly, we should be more a part of Pride. We should make more of an effort to include our sober brothers and sisters and non-binary, because I can't imagine
how triggering Pride must be. That the fact that it is so party focused, that if you're not part of the party, then you're not part of Pride. And obviously that's not true. So I don't know if you could share a little bit about your sober journey and how you kind of get through Pride with some of these triggers.
That's a very, very, very loaded question with a deep history in terms of what brought me to essentially the depths of what the crumbling of my life to get sober. I've been sober now from all mind-altering substances essentially about 5 years.
Wow, congratulations.
Awesome.
I'm pretty proud. I'm going to clap at myself.
That is very amazing.
Thanks. I seriously, I am so eternally grateful to just been given the gift of sobriety. I am a grateful alcoholic. I thought at first it was a punishment. I was like, well, the fun is over. I can't do the things that I thought, I would need to do to have fun. Whether Pride or otherwise, but the reality is that I was, a daytime drinker. It was impacting everything that I did. I was losing my relationships, and it was the kind of the final thing which made me feel so deeply alone was when the person who I thought would always be there for me, my mother, when she said, "That's it, I'm done," and turned away and said, "I'm not going to be here for you anymore." And that was, and you remember at the time I had a spray painted wall that said freedom on it. That I would stare at every day and just think about how shackled I was by this, this obsession and disease and daily weight of that, which would have eventually killed me very, shortly thereafter. The first few prides in my sobriety, I mean, fast forward a little bit and finding my 12-step program that I'm a member of, and all of the things. I mean, there was a lot of process to get there. Obviously, with the support system of my family here, the prides were incredibly triggering. But you know what? It wasn't. At first, it was kind of I could not participate. I just simply I had so much anxiety just walking from. In our Toronto Pride in Canada, my hometown, there's a Church Street, which is actually, by the way, where they filmed a lot of Queer as Folk. And so just walking from point A to point B filled me with anxiety. And then there were all the circuit parties, and then there were all of this, and I just simply said, I just can't. And in fact, I wrote it off for the rest of my life that I would never be able to do those things.
A lot of people do that, and it's so hurtful because it's your pride too.
And I don't recommend this for everybody. If anyone's struggling out there, everyone has their own journey, and I can only speak from the experience that is my own. Once I finally, found a degree of honesty with who I was, and I guess a freedom from that, a reprieve from that mental obsession of, I'm here, what does that mean? Oh my God, everyone's drinking. I don't have a drink in my hand. What is that? It's uncomfortable. Fast forward a few years where I'm just very much a lot more confident in those areas of my life. I'm able to partake in the things. I'm able to go dancing. Dancing sober is one of the most spiritual experiences I've ever experienced, because I hadn't experienced it until that point. I had never stopped in a pride parade and actually said, what does it mean to be a proud gay man? I had never thought about that. I was just busy doing the things that we do in the parties. And that's what pride was to me. Pride was calling my at the time my work to say, oh, I'm not going to be there next week. That's what pride was, because of the consumption. Pride wasn't about how do I really, like, where are we in my personal life and what it means to be filled with pride about my sexual identity, and how can I help others? Others?
Yeah.
All about me.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I guess just to summarize, the pride itself has morphed. It's been completely changed. I know that I still need my support systems. There's always, at least in Toronto prides, because I'm a part of it and I help support the sober spaces. In fact, rIVerse performed there. I guess the most recent year where they were having performances. And so there are safe spaces. There's always someone that you can talk to, and at the end of the day is Pride doesn't have to be celebrated. Pride is in here, right? Pride can be celebrated in silence and reflected on at home if that's the safest environment for you. So that's it.
Come on. Thank you for sharing that, because you know that in itself is a coming out as well, and it can be for I know from like my gay friends, when there's somebody sober, it's like, oh God, and then you get all nervous. But a lot of prides don't have a safe space. A lot of prides are focusing on the bar, because I'm usually there. But it's like that's the focus, sponsored by this alcohol. It's like party. It's like, well, I think our prides need to kind of learn from that. So thank you very much for sharing, because I know this is a difficult time for many people.
Yes.
I want to talk about what rIVerse did through COVID. A lot of people were putting out digital content, but it was like from our living rooms, or some of us went into this kind of depressive cocoon that thankfully a lot of us did come out of, but nobody knew what to do. rIVerse kind of was like, we don't want to sleep during COVID. Holy damn. You did a virtual performance.
Yes,
we did.
And it wasn't just, and not to put down any content from your living room, but it was like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it rIVerse style.
Yes.
And
Yes.
boy, did you do it. Where did that kind of idea come across? Because there was going to be no audience. I'm sure funding it wasn't the easiest thing during COVID. So if you can share a little bit about what sparked that kind of idea and what that process, and when you all finally filmed it, what that felt like. It's like, okay, I guess we're done performing.
Well, you know what? The idea to create a project that was going to support the release of the album and the video, which we also completed through COVID. We kind of look at those things as like our three, like the holy trinity: the album, the video, and the concert.
Yes.
So initially, we did a performance specifically for Baby Boo, the single. And this was through a contact of Zach's through his sober friends community. Thank you, that's the word I was looking for. And his name is Jamie Hodgins. The
Shout
company.
out to Jamie.
Yeah, plug his company.
Jamie Hodgins.
No,
Jamie Hodgins.
no, it's the virtual VCR.
Oh yes, the virtual concert reality.
Yeah.
Who he was like, hey,
That's a great resource.
COVID,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, there's a pandemic happening. He does a lot of productions himself, and he was like, what do I do now? And he created this incredible space to then do these virtual shows and virtual concerts that are phenomenal.
Fantastic.
He's so
Absolutely.
fantastic. Yeah.
Yes. So we did, we sang a little acapella of "O Canada" just to kind of like let y'all know where we from. And then we did a performance of Baby Boo. And when we saw the finished product, we were like, wait a minute. Okay, this is really fierce. We need to create a full experience of the album in this same space. So then we just got to work. We literally went to the drawing board and said, okay, choreographer, dancers, producer, photographer, behind the scenes. We just listed out exactly what we needed, and then we just got to work. A lot of it was it was a challenge to bring together because, again, it is just the four of us. But once we had our team members on board, our amazing choreographer Leon Blackwood, shout out Leon Blackwood. Leah Rifkin, who did our behind the scenes and editing of the full concert. Ryan McDonald, who did our sound. Our
amazing dancers.
Oh my God, come on. Martin, Miambi, Armando, Amia, and Lorenz.
Amazing.
The best dancers in the mother effing world, beach. Okay, so we all came together and really put the vision on paper. We looked at what that was and just created what I personally believe, and I know everybody here in terms of the group, was a masterpiece.
It
And we're
was.
super proud of it.
Yeah.
We're going to take a little peek.
Oh,
my God. I'm so excited.
I did not expect that.
Neither did I.
Baby Boo.
Ooh, yeah, this is the, oh, that's when I went by Diz. Come on, Diz.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all
back, cause you told me, show me, to malone me. I want you, baby, I want you. A two-step like the OGs. Loving overnight till the daylight breaks free. Double up with the movie songs I write about you, baby. My baby, my baby, my boo. My baby, my baby, my baby, my boo. My baby, my baby, my baby, my boo. My baby, my baby, my baby, my boo. My baby,
안녕하세요, 롱톤이에요. goody good girl, gone bad, Mr. Dayo. So seductive, yeah, you want come on, man, watch me TikTok, pop, drop, lip lock. It's a girl crush concept, thing you did. Hit you with a love shot, call me Billy the Kid. Turn off your Snapchat, boy, come and get your cookie. 21 and over shit, you ain't dealing with the rookie poster.
Post up what you want me. Never scale back, cause you told me, show me, to malone me. I want you, baby, I want you. Two-step like the OGs. Loving all the night till the daylight breaks free. Double up with a movie, songs I write about you, baby. My baby, my baby, my boo. My baby, my baby, my boo. My baby, my baby, my baby, don't be mistaken. It's not just about all of the love that we're making. Like the sunrise and diving away. Trust in love again. And my darling, you are the reason I say. My baby, my baby, my boo. My baby, 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 my baby, don't be mistaken. It's not just about all of the love that we're making. Sunrise and diving away. Trust in love again, my boo. My baby, my.
Thank
you so much.
Thank you, thank you.
You can.
Music platforms.
Tell 'em.
Yes.
What I love about rIVerse is obviously you are so cohesive, and I know each one of you has a different roles in front of the camera and also behind the camera in terms of so much. But you still maintain your individuality, which I think is so important in a group. We interviewed Jake Shears from Sister Scissors last week, and he was talking about how they kind of just all lost their individuality, and as their success rose, they became this like monster that they couldn't keep up with. It was so difficult. It was so damaging. And so I do love that you, as the creator of the group, you allow everybody to express themselves, but that each one of you brings such a different energy. It's so refreshing. So yeah.
I love that.
That was the goal. The goal was always to have a group where there was individuals that the audience can pick somebody out that they can identify or relate to or gravitate towards. And in order to do that, you have to have everybody shine. And so that's why.
And I will say, like, Justice is a fantastic, like, creative director because we've been together for 10 years. He knows us so well that, like, a lot of times he'll be like, I wrote this song at 3 o'clock in the morning. It's like the whole song is done. And he's like, here's your verse. And then he like reads it or he performs it for me. And I'm like, that is my verse. that is exactly my verse. Yes. Like he knows us so well. And he always like will do his best to he knows exactly how do I make you shine? What's going to make you sound and look the very best? That's what I'm giving you.
Well, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I just love you as lead rapper. I saw one of your TikToks. You have like a journal and you're just kind of like writing words and like you're like, this is my daily life. It's like, you're really, like,
It's constantly playing in my head. Music is always in my head. Yes.
Wow.
Monroe, I want to talk about another thing that another theme that happens during Pride. On your social media, you talk about body positivity. You show us your curves, which is so important. What was your experience growing up? I know you studied ballet, you studied modern dance, and the dance world is so focused on a certain body type.
Yes.
And so I don't know what your experience like that was. And also, again, coming out and having the courage to be like, this is my body, and I'm proud of it, and I'm going to show you it, which, that's difficult.
It's hard. No, for real. I mean, growing up, I never had anybody to look up to and be like, that looks exactly like me. I never did. I always had, the Mariah Careys, the Britney Spears, the Christina Aguileras, and they were one image. And in my mind, I was like, I have to look like that to be successful. And I've been in the industry for a really long time, and I started off when I was young, of course, and every audition room that I would go to, it's like, you're so talented. You are everything we're looking for, but you just need to lose a little bit of weight. And I remember going home and like I'll never forget this. I did a casting for Disney, and the guy was like, yeah, you're great, fantastic, you're gonna fit this role. We just need you to lose a couple more pounds so that you can, fit into the clothes that the people want you to fit in, and like for the characters and all that stuff. And the roles that I was going for, I was never the lead role because a big girl can't be a star. I was always the funny best friend. I was always the side character. But even then, you had to be a certain type of big girl. You were never just a big girl. You had to be the thin big girl. Like, what the hell is that?
like the Alpha Mertz. Like, she wasn't a big girl, but she was.
It messes with your head. It messes with your head. So, I remember going in the car with my mom, and I'm like, Mom, this is what they're saying. She's like, it's okay. If you want me to help you, like if this is what you want, then I'll help you. But you also don't have to change who you are to be that. And I remember when Justice had called me up to be a part of rIVerse, I was in the car getting ready to go to a club. And he had called me and he was like, hey. And I was like, hey. And he was like, so I have to ask you something. I was like, He's like, would you like to be a part of rIVerse? And before he even said rIVerse, I was like, yes, absolutely. So I remember after like we had our kiki and I was like, yeah, I'm part of rIVerse, boops. And I closed the phone and I was like, uh-oh. Now I'm going to be in front of everybody. Like everyone's going to look at me. And that was my fear. My fear that everyone was going to look at me and judge me because I wasn't skinny like Britney Spears. I wasn't skinny like Christina Aguilera. I wasn't skinny like Mariah Carey. I was me. And I didn't have anybody to lean on.
And that's
with that.
exactly why I selected her.
That's why you are you.
Because I'm like, I need this. I need this beauty, this voice, this magic, this charisma to be seen by girls that also look like her.
And not even just girls, it's everybody around the world,
Yes.
And the thing growing up is that I looked at these people and I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
I can sing just like them. And it would hurt me because I didn't have anything like that, right? So when I was part of rIVerse, that was my coming out. That was my coming out of who I was. I was like, I'm going to stand in the front and I'm going to open my mouth and I'm going to sing and everyone's going to watch me and everyone's going to listen, and there was one part in High School Musical where, and this is another triggering thing of, being a plus size, thick woman in the industry, is I was only good enough in High School Musical for part of it, was my voice. No tea, no shade, but I was Gabriella's voice for the first run.
Wow.
So when Gabriella was with Troy, I was like, na 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 na, yeah, in the back.
In the back.
Right. You are the music in me. In the back. And she's like.
And no one saw this beautiful face.
No, and the thing is, another thing is, we were outside and we're signing autographs with everybody and all the girls and all the little boys and
You
parents.
have such a beautiful voice.
Beautiful
Oh my gosh,
voice.
we love you
And
so
she
much.
said, thank you.
No, she didn't.
She did. And I was there.
I'm going to call her right now.
And I was in the back just like,
But that was you.
that was me. So my whole life, I kind of always been behind the scenes of like, that's the girl with the voice, but we're gonna keep her in the back because she's not that skinny girl that we need. But the look. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I am the look.
Yes, you are. Yes,
right.
you are.
I am the look.
And the talent.
The moment.
And not to mention, every artist you mentioned, from Britney Spears, Christina, and Mariah Carey, have all talked about their severe body issues that played with their psyche, that have had some part with their mental health.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's still a struggle for me today. I'm not like, I'm perfect. But like, I have my moments where like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I ate so much the other day. And it's this obsession that we as humans have with perfection that is so mentally draining.
Totally.
So mentally draining.
If I can just add, not females and males.
That's what I mean. Everybody.
You know,
especially during Pride is what I'm saying. Now shirts are coming off. Now all the floats have all the hot guys in their speedos. It's like okay, or it's the complete other side, which is the bear community, which is a community in itself, but nobody talks to each other, and it's like, well, what if you're not that extreme and you're not that extreme?
Yeah.
Where are you?
Yeah.
And I want to talk to all of you of, you know, body positivity is such like a buzzword. Like Disney now is all about inclusivity and all their casting. It's like, well, where were you when this audition was happening? Now, do we think it's just a buzzword? And I'll tell you, I've already had some Pride gigs this last weekend. We did Desertopia in Palm Springs, and it was a pool party. Guess what? Body positivity was not the main priority for anybody. You know, and I'm like, I'm funny on the mic, but then go mix and mingle. It's like,
yeah.
So I want to talk from your perspective, and you both as gay men obviously take very good care of your body. So what is the perspective of, do you think body positivity is truly happening, or it's a buzzword that's in the media, but is it happening on the ground level?
Well, from my personal experience, when I'm posting a picture, because I've undergone a transformation which has aligned with my sobriety. It's been a big part of that, and I suffered from bulimia for many years of my high school and university years. So the pressure of the body image that I thought I needed, it had its impact on my life. But to the point of the story that I'm sharing is that when I post a picture or want to post a picture today on Instagram, for instance, that is, let's say, where I might be shirtless, I'm sometimes hesitant because it's like, how will that be perceived in terms of like body positivity, or is he embracing and appreciating kind of one form of image, which is my own, and I want to share it. But what I would say is that it comes from today when I go to the gym and I work on my fitness. I have one rule, and I have worked with trainers and things like that. But today my program is, so long as I'm there and I'm having a good time and I am getting what I need from it, and it's the meditation that I seek, that's all that I need to be there. And so the byproduct benefits that come with it, are simply there. But body positivity in just general. It is I also suffer from attention deficit disorder, and I am going on a tangent. And I lost my train of thought.
That happens.
Well, I was gonna say just really quickly, just to in terms of the buzzword thing. I have a love-hate relationship with social media, but the one thing that I do love about it is that it is the people. So I think because it's the people, that gate has been open now, where there are people of all different walks of life who are essentially running-ish now. I don't think that it is a buzzword. In the media, it might be, but when you go to the real world, when you go on social media, the TikToks, this or that is always going to be, because those people exist in those spaces.
Yeah, I think that's what I was going to say to your question. I think everything... It's like exactly what you said earlier. As soon as June 1st hits, every corporation, every brand is like pride and love is love. And like July 1st, they'll forget about it. February 1st, it's all Black Lives Matter and we're all about, and then they forget about it. But there are people out there who have been doing the work on a grassroots level. So with body positivity, in the body positivity community, there are people who are actively out there, and they have been for decades doing this work and educating people. And like, for me, I'm curating my social media to those people, because all the buzzwords will always be flying around. But you have to find the people who are out there, like, they know what they're talking about. They have the knowledge, they have the science, they have the resources, and those are the people that are going to lead the change. So we need to give our attention and our energy to the grassroots. That's where change will start.
Yeah.
Well, and Monroe, also, when you say, you use hashtags like body positive, plus size model, and then the focus is totally on your body, and that gets tiring too. Just like when you're a gay singer, or you're a gay group, or you're a gay MC, it's like, wait a minute,
I'm so
can we
much
stop
more.
talking about it?
Yeah.
So it's a double-edged sword that Hollywood is now talking about. Oh, we've hired this model or this performance. Like, okay, let's get past it. So it really is. Do we want representation? But then that's all the articles focus on.
Yeah. It is like a double-edged sword, isn't it? It's weird because
and
it's
then
just
you're
people.
hyper aware. Like you
Yeah.
said, it's like I'm gonna be on camera. Everyone's gonna be like body positive. And I'm like, let's see how It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think honestly, I think that's one of the things that I love the most about rIVerse. People tell us all the time, like, if you guys really corner this niche of being like an LGBTQ plus group, then you can really focus on that and talk about that all the time. But we are artists first and foremost, and we will always make that decision to put our artistry first before anything else. And we always talk on our reaction series about how when
I love your reaction series, by the way.
Thank you.
Like it's like we get to hang out with you for real.
Yeah,
That's what it's supposed to be.
It's supposed to be fun. Yeah, but we talk about how like when you're offering representation, but you're not pigeonholing people, you get to see the broad spectrum.
Yeah.
The more we can see plus size people also being funny and like, you know what I mean? All these different things. We can see a gay man who is also very talented and a great dancer and a great songwriter and you can see the full spectrum of who someone is. Then you kind of start to break down those labels. And we are always just going to be rIVerse before we are any of those things.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good point because when you start watching your video, you're so entranced. All of these labels that have been thrown on rIVerse are out because you're just in it and you're not thinking
That's
about
right.
each little label.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Y'all bring the soul.
Oh,
Y'all bringing soul.
well, coming from you,
from
that is
you.
a
I'm
great
serious.
compliment.
I'm going to Apple Music as soon as I leave from here.
Come on.
Khadija, we got this from one of your fans. Wanted to ask you about your TikTok. Is TikTok dancing real dancing, or is it giving dance a bad name?
Oh, that's
We have a lot of hot topics
Listen.
tonight.
Topics.
I can talk about this all day. I really feel
We have
like
2 minutes.
I can talk about this for 1 minute exactly. I think TikTok is so underrated. It's a different art form in the same way that like whatever, I don't know, movies came out and then people who were doing like radio shows were like, what is this?
Or
you know what I
podcasts.
mean? Podcasts and people are like, it's so underrated. It's a very different art form, but it is something. Not everybody could be a TikTok dancer. Yeah. The dance styles are different, but there's something that's very unique about it, and you have to have a certain quality to be able to engage with people and catch them in 15 seconds or less, or whatever. Like it, I think TikTok dancers need a lot more credit than they get.
There is this battle. We've had people that are professional dancers that have been on reality TV, and they're like, TikTok dancing is following steps. It's not dancing. And it's also having a lot of TikTok dancers show up to auditions.
Yeah.
And they're like not prepared for the audition.
Oh, poor thing.
So I'm like, well, then why don't you make TikToks about the audition process?
Well, you know what though, if we could apply the same kind of thoughts of evolution and just openness and open-mindedness and such, I think there's some takeaways that we've talked about just in our chats today that we can apply to that too. I mean, everything is always ever changing, and there's space for everybody, and there's no singular right or wrong way to do things. As Khadija mentioned, it's just a way.
Yeah. Don't send a TikTok dancer to an advanced hip hop class. Not a good look, but let them have their space and let them shine there.
And plus, some kid in the Midwest is sliding up on maybe a queer artist who's doing a TikTok, and they're able to see themselves represented.
Yeah,
It doesn't matter if you. Okay. Still haven't gotten TikTok. I'm fighting it.
You gotta get on it.
Just
What
got
would I
there.
do?
I got there, but I'm also barely hanging on. Yeah.
That's the last.
I've been left behind.
Yeah, TikTok is all right.
Tony, do we have time for one more hot topic? One more. Okay. I really want to know your perspective, and your perspective, Pepper, as well. You all coming from a different nation, which is not so far, but it is so far in my mind in terms of how advanced everybody is up there.
That's right.
During COVID, here in LA, across the nation, we had BLM protests. It was extremely divisive, even in terms of our own LGBTQ community, where we suddenly found out people that were our best friends were not so inclusive as we profess to be?
Perpetuated?
No.
No.
Profess to be.
Profess.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're the word nerd.
I know.
Yeah, she's like,
I was like,
So I want to talk about what your experience is in Canada in terms of any type of phobia and also levels of racism. And also, Pepper, I want you to talk about, you've been in the industry for a while.
Yes.
As a black woman. And we know, hearing about somebody singing for somebody else is not new.
Right.
Especially for a black woman. So I want to know about this, and I think this is an important topic to end on, to make us motivated for get through Pride, but for the next year, so that next Pride we're having a different conversation.
Yes.
Okay, so come on, Canadians, tell me what's up north.
Oh, that is
This is tough.
That's a big
This is a
one.
tough
It
one.
is,
Yeah.
and I think everybody has an idea that Canada is much more inclusive and much more open-minded and much more accepting.
Utopia.
Which, in a lot of ways, we are very grateful to live in Canada, because there are a lot of things that, like, coming here, many of my friends and family were like, be careful. Like, you're going to the States, like, just
But it's
please
a very
be
real
It's
thing.
real.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there is also very much a lot of bigotry in Canada. But it's just quieter. It's just like behind closed doors, behind the curtain. At a public thing, we're all honoring everybody, but then when it comes to giving opportunities or to acknowledgement or to people facing actual discrimination, and then it just gets brushed aside. Like, that happens every day in Canada.
That's how the U.S. was 6 years ago.
Wow.
Right? Everything was kind of quiet, and we saw what happened.
Yes.
Donald Trump.
Yep.
I can't even believe I said it. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, people think Canada. Just to comment on that, we often hear that. As a Canadian, I often hear the comment, "Well, Canadians are so polite or so kind," and that just speaks to that, because it's what I appreciate about Americans, and I actually learned this going to like 12-step meetings here in the States. In all of the times I've been here,
That must be an interesting.
y'all are loud. Y'all are like just talking over each
Well,
other.
we have donuts at our meetings.
We do not. It was just there's elements of that are things are brought forward or
More
expressed
upfront.
There's less of a smile here and kind of a thought there that's not shared. And that's where the kind of Canadian politeness maybe does us just as a
It's
disservice.
kind of scary to not, they say the devil you know is better than the devil you don't.
Yes.
That's
Yes. And that's really all I wanted to share. But you're absolutely right in terms of the experience of that. What comes to mind is the imagery of Harry Potter. I know it's like so far out there, but the Death Eaters
That's another
kind of
hot topic.
The Death Eaters,
yes.
kind of taking off their masks
Yes.
and exposing their true selves, because through all of that politeness and kindness that we might have in Canada, there was a lot that surprised me, and I just had not, because it was never spoken, and it was and sometimes we just proceed with our lives, and so that's kind of one of the things that the politeness masked quite literally.
I'll just give you a really short example. Walking into any business for me, I am always watched by security. It does not matter what business I go into. I will always feel a body and there's somebody following me. And I always have to fight myself from saying, I'm not stealing anything, but it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So that's just an example of the fact that it does exist in Canada. And even in the entertainment industry, which is where I've lived my whole life, it is so rampant. It is so rampant.
Entertainment industry is not a safe space.
Oh no, not at all.
Absolutely not.
But colorism also is another thing. Like it's not just racism, but black people and skin shades, and
That's right.
It's that is a whole other bag of bull crap that could be a whole episode in itself.
Exactly.
But I'll leave it there. Yeah.
Well, like here in LA, we think that we're such a melting pot used to be the term for us, which is probably not the best term. It's like we don't want to melt. We want to be part of something like rIVerse, but still maintain your individuality.
Yeah.
But I think representation is totally different. And this was a very dangerous time for many in your community, and I think a lot of gay men in West Hollywood didn't know how to support the black community. Some of us didn't want to.
And I remember when the drag queens in the 80s were being refused to go into gay clubs. They didn't want them. And that was a shock to me because I felt that it should have been a whole community united together in all the different categories.
It should be.
And then when Obama came in, I had many fury battles with Bobby Caldwell and his group. To this day, now they're jumping on the trans athletes.
Mm-hmm.
They don't believe that a young man can trans into a female, but they think that that takes away from a female. But it's not true.
Well, that is a very hot topic. And I'm not
Yes,
sure
it
how I
is.
feel about that, but it's a conversation that we should come to the table and actually have,
Yeah.
so that we can learn
Yeah.
and we can move on.
But there's so many people that don't want to even
Refuse
to
They
even
refuse
have
to
the conversation.
It's not even part of their mindset. When they see that picture,
But that's actually a very good point. Even in West Hollywood, drag queens would have their own bars to hang out at, and they wouldn't be at the Abbey or the Mickey's. And now we know like every club has 4 drag shows a
Yes.
day.
Yeah.
We're like,
Yeah.
okay, we get it.
Playing RuPaul on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
But like
Yes.
RuPaul and Drag Race being across the world now at this point. Who would have
Worldwide.
thought? Their season 1, who would have thought that it would be
Yes.
a mainstream phenomenon?
We were talking about that the other day too. We were talking about Tu Wong Fu, and we were like, how
Yes.
drag
Tu
has
Wong Fu.
changed.
Yes.
But how scary for those actors, Wesley Snipes, Patrick Swayze,
Right?
John
Yes.
Leguizamo.
Yes.
It
Yes.
wasn't what it was now.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
goodness.
You know, that was
amazing.
probably-
They deserve their flowers for
Yes.
For real.
going
Yes, they
there
do.
at that time.
And they brought it, and
Exactly.
again, they were so individual. John Leguizamo, I would have dated him in 2
yeah,
seconds.
I loved him in the movie. Yeah.
So good.
But how comfortable were they telling these stories?
Yeah.
You know, now we're so angry, like, if a straight man tells our gay man story, but the story's being told. And with Tu Wong Fu, the story was
Yeah.
told.
Yeah.
You know, Priscilla Queen of the Desert, the story was told. Yes, we can involve and we could want more representation, but let's at least get the story out there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Chip at the wall in
Yeah.
whatever way. Yeah.
Yeah. Monroe, your experience in Canada.
Well, you know what? My experience is going to be much different from everyone else's because I am a white woman, right? And it's actually a conversation that we had at the dinner table last week or so. About how my experience is different from your experience and your experience and your experience because being a white woman, everything is supposed to be much easier for you, right? You're just going to get the green light. Oh, you are blonde hair, blue eye, white skin. You are the all-American dream.
Yep.
Right? And I was just born this way. So I didn't understand what that meant. You know what I mean? I'm living my life because I was just born this way, just like you're also born black and you're a black woman. You know what I mean? Like it's everyone is born the way that they are, and people have created this divisiveness within each other. And I always go back to the representation of children. You know, when you put children in a room, no matter what race you are, they don't see that. They see, oh, you're my friend, you're another person, you know, but as you're growing up, you're like, oh, but now my friend is being, you know, being yelled at, or my friend is being turned away. My friend's not invited here, you know, and your horizons, your mindset starts to open up and you start to see, okay, this is not okay. And in Canada, it is very much a more quieter thing. And because I'm part of rIVerse, I see things from different perspectives. I don't see things just from my own eyes. I see things from my brothers and my sisters' eyes too. And it's also a learning thing that you learn growing up and also being a part of this group. I see things differently because I have my brothers and sisters here, you know, who walk a different path than I do, you know, and then they also have insight from what I see as well, and how maybe I don't understand something, or maybe they don't understand something. So there's this constant communication that we have within the group, which I think is so important. And when we say that we represent the underrepresented, girl, we do. Because there is there is everything that you can think of. There's something that we represent within that group, and we're able to have a voice with that. So my experience is that I am grateful that I'm able to learn, that I'm able to learn, that I'm able to grow, and that I'm able to learn and able to grow, because we are constantly evolving. And if you're gonna live your life with one mindset, you're not really living.
Exactly.
You're not living in this world. You're living in your world, and your world is completely different from the world that we live in.
Yes.
So open your eyes.
Well, and what rIVerse has proven is your family can be your friends, can be the team that you align yourself with.
Absolutely.
You guys have been through ups and downs.
Yeah.
You've been through challenges in life, many
Trials and
challenges.
tribulations.
And here you are, and you have a safe space.
Where have
no
you
matter
been
where
all
you
my
go,
life?
you can
We're
always
here now. We're here
Pepper,
now.
if you don't dive in that goddamn pool,
Where have y'all been all my life?
We're here now, boo.
So much.
Oh my
collaboration.
Yes.
Are we gonna go to a ranch and disappear and never come back? and just fall in love and like.
We done moved past that, baby. We're up the hill now.
Oh,
We're going
come
up
on.
We're that
We should
shining
do-
beacon on the
We should
hill.
do a dinner night at the ranch where we all put our phones away. We just hang out and talk.
I would love that.
Oh,
Oh my
y'all-
gosh, that'll be so much
That is our
fun.
dream.
Y'all come back.
Yes.
Yeah.
You, Maestro.
farm?
You, boo, not the farm. Up the hill.
Up the hill.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tony.
You know, us in
Okay.
West
We're doing
Hollywood,
it.
we're like,
We're doing it.
Pasadena? Do I need a passport?
Well, we're relocating here. I mean, we're moving here is part of. We're not just here for a month and then it's goodbye, so long, and see you maybe next year
We'll
or
be
something.
back.
Like that. We'll be back frequently. I mean, this is where our business happens,
You
and so
have to, because y'all talented.
absolutely.
Thank
There's
you.
no way
Yeah.
in hell that you need to keep that on the shelf up on that border.
We are global citizens, and we are bringing
And your
our message
fans
to
are
the world.
very-
Which
So,
is awesome.
yeah.
All right, well, we have to wrap up. As sad as that is, if we can just go down the line, tell people where you want them to find you and follow you, Khadija.
You can find rIVerse collectively at rIVerse Live, RIVERSE Live on all social media platforms. And when you go there, then you can find each of our individual accounts as well. So follow us. I do a lot of dancing. This one's always shirtless, and he looks great. You guys can follow.
Those pants from that virtual should have their OnlyFans. is all
Come
I'm saying.
on.
Okay.
Come on.
Yes.
Je m'appelle.
Well, sorry. No, give your individual too.
Okay, so then my
And
individual
your
one
TikTok,
is...
because you gotta check it out.
Yes, my individual one is Khadija.rIVerse. So KHADIJA.rIVerse, RIVERSE.
Yes, mama. My name is Justice. You can follow me at rIVerse Live, RIVERSE Live, and that's the case across all social media. And personally, you can follow me on my personal Instagram account at dizzy.rIVerse, DIZZY.rIVerse, RIVERSE. Bam!
What was the transition from?
Yeah.
It was my British. Oh, the name.
name.
Oh, okay. So let me condense because I know we have to wrap.
Wow.
I know we have to wrap it up. So, Diz was a nickname that I was given as a child, but what it morphed into was the hard shell that I thought I had to become as a hypermasculine man to make it in this industry. Diz took on that form, and Justice was me breaking that down and becoming more of myself, and the version of me now that taps into my divine feminine and my beautiful masculine. That's what Justice is now today.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
And I'm an activist, so fight for justice for
Exactly.
all beautiful humans on this planet.
Period.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Pepper.
Darling, you can find me on Facebook.
Girl.
Yeah.
It was the
Oh,
way
you
she
got
said it.
We gotta crank this up.
I'm still.
Going on Facebook just for you.
I have. You know what, darling? Now I want to learn TikTok.
Come on,
Yes.
TikTok.
Come on. You
Yes.
I will.
you would blow up on TikTok.
I'm serious, y'all. But Facebook, on Twitter, I'm an activist on Twitter.
Yes.
Love it.
I have a
Love
number
it.
of handles, and you'll have to put them together. 'Cause you
Just
can't
like my
say
ex.
you can't say too much
It's true.
politically because people, in our community, I have been blacklisted,
Wow.
and not just because of the skin. You don't want to hit potholes in your career to where you can't go
Yeah.
into certain areas.
But most of it is Pepper Mashay 53.
Pepper Mashay 53. That's the year of my birth, y'all.
Come on.
I'm telling the truth.
Hallelujah.
69 this year, y'all.
Oh, wow.
Boom.
That's
My
a good
God.
number.
Damn.
That's a good number.
That is a good.
Well, and since you guys
Wow.
have been Airbnb in West Hollywood, you see there's 24-year-olds with so much Botox, whatever. They're like, you're on your last leg, girl. Monroe, before you share, can you just do the doll eye?
Oh my
You have to.
gosh.
Everybody's obsessed with it.
Of course. Okay, okay. So this is my doll eye. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
You're
Freeze
so
frame.
cute.
So
It's so like
is that I
Twilight
can continue
Zone.
to have a conversation and blink the other eye, but this one still remains the same.
Incredible.
But this one still remains the same.
And this one still remains the same.
Obsessed.
So, yes. So now you can follow me at rIVerse Live. That's rIVerse Live. That's again with rIVerse. And then on my personal account, you can follow me at Monroe XX rIVerse. That's MONROEXX rIVerse RIVERSE.
Well done.
Yeah, that is
Thank you.
QRST.
Somebody messaged me with like
WXY.
Does she have an OnlyFans?
No, I was gonna
Somebody
say
literally
not
said
3
me that.
X's. That's a different
Oh my
thing.
gosh,
What
I
does a
didn't even
double
think
X
about
mean
that.
then?
It's just like kiss,
Kisses.
kiss.
Kiss, kiss.
All right.
XX. Okay.
Everyone can follow me as well. I love the little repetition plug here at rIVerse Live because it's the truth. RIVERSE Live, LIVE. I'll spell it once more for you. And personally, I can be followed at Zach rIVerse. That's ZAKRIVERSE. And I learned that Canadians say Z as opposed to Z because everywhere I go, I spell my name. I say ZAK, and then the
like,
barista
what?
or whatever he or she or they they spell Z
Yes.
D-A-K. I'm like, I'm not Zadak.
Zadak.
That's just how I say the letter.
It's Liza with a Z, not Liza with a. Let's see. Okay.
Yeah.
Everybody, what a great kickoff for Pride.
Happy Pride.
So, in keeping with Pride, here at the network, we are spinning off on a network for and by the community. If you're a podcaster or want to be a podcaster, reach out to lgbtqigo.com for all the information, because we'll make it work for you. That's all, folks. It's always a grab bag of fun here every week on The Rocks. Big thank you to our fabulous guest, our engineer, Tony Sweet. Also
Yay.
social
Come on,
media-
Tony.
Our social media clip editor, Alex Mendez. We're celebrating Pride all month. Next week, we're talking Star Trek in Pride with Star Trek Discovery's Marie Chifo. We have members of the cast of the upcoming world premiere of Interstate at East West Players, an Asian American pop rock poetry musical focused on the queer community. And we're going to be talking about the Asian community, another unrepresented community during Pride. And then to sex it up, we have 2020's Sexiest Guy on TikTok by People Magazine, also Broadway and TV actor. Ian Paget is coming in to talk about mental health awareness during Pride.
Come on, Ian.
Also, I found out today, I can't name them, we have some Bravo celebrity surprises. You're going to pee your pants. Almost like one of them peed our seat here when she was here first.
Was it me?
What? That's interesting.
Yes, well, that's the story. Anyway, it's all here for Pride. Please like, share, subscribe so we can continue to bring this fabulous programming coming your way. Until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay sexy. I usually end with stay tipsy, or party and be sober. Yeah!
Yes, Chuck.
This has been another episode of On the Rocks. Tweet me and slide into my DMs on Twitter and Instagram at On the Rocks On Air. Find everything On the Rocks for free at OnTheRocksRadioshow.com. Subscribe, like, review, and share. Until next week, stay fabulous.